I have a very funny punchline for you today. And guess who said it? Warren Buffett. If you can't communicate, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens. Welcome to Aanu's Growth Series, episode 19. Yay! We're at episode 19. That means we are almost 11 episodes to 30. Wow. And we should start thinking about what to record next. Thank you to all our followers. You've been great. You've been following from the beginning. I know constant followers, and I get feedback. I'm grateful. Thank you for giving me the motivation I need to push. But this is not the end, so let me stop being emotional. All right, today we are talking about communication and influence. Communication and influence. Communication and influence. Wow, the topic of communication is massive, but I just thought Warren Buffett's statement was funny. Winking at a girl in the dark. There's no light in there. Everywhere is dark and you are winking and you expect the girl to respond. That's how many of us do when we are not saying our mind yet. We are saying, but they are supposed to know. Who is supposed to know? Right? So communication is great. Knowledge without communication is invisibility. Knowledge without communication is invisibility. You know it, but you can't communicate it. People won't know you. In short, people can take your ideas and use it as their own. Why? Because you are not communicating. Leadership, I think we've talked about that before, is influence. For you to be called a leader, you should be able to influence people, influence things, influence systems. And influence is not about being heard. Influence is about being trusted. If there is someone, in my language, there are certain funny things they say. They say if a particular person tells you good morning, just go and look outside because it may be evening. So you say that person can be a great leader, because that kind of great leader says we are going to make it, and the person is not serious. You will quietly just walk away, right? So leadership is influence. Let's never ever forget that. Leadership requires reliability, and I think we talked about that in time management. So let's not forget that. Loud is not powerful. The fact that you are the loudest in the room does not mean you are the most powerful. Influence is not about volume. It's good to have a voice, a solid voice, but a solid voice without influence is nothing. It's just noise. Noise is not authority. It is composure that builds credibility. Even if you are somebody that does not talk every time, they know that the moment you speak, you are speaking sense. They will still respect you. And that's what I want to sell to us today. We need to learn this art of communication. Communication is you with your emotional quotient that we talked about the last time, being able to express it. And you also need to have a skill to be able to express it, which we are going to talk about in the course of this episode. The calmest voice often carries the most weight. The calmest voice often carries the most weight. You don't have to shout to let people know that you are important or valuable. IQ will get you into the room. Communication is what keeps you there, especially in this Canadian system, or maybe I should say abroad system. I mean abroad for people in my country of birth and the likes, right? Many people focus on technical expertise and technical acumen, but they don't focus on communication. That's when you now see people, somebody is almost 26 and they don't know how to communicate. Let me throw in another bomb. They don't know how to ask a woman out. Are you kidding me? At age 26, You don't know how to ask a woman out. That's just by the side anyways. Knowledge will open doors for you, no doubt. Your technical skill, your capacity is a great one, right? But your delivery is what keeps doors open. If you are someone who doesn't talk, you be right before your eyes, you will see your accomplishment being given to somebody else. But I'm praying that will not be us, in Jesus' name. Emotional reactions, they leak your influence. If they know that this person is going to shout or is not emotionally balanced, they will not trust you too much. So I want us to keep that in mind. You don't lose your influence overnight. It is your reactions. You lose your influence through reactions. Where you are not supposed to react, you react. You lose influence there. And I've been in that situation a couple of times, many of which I regret. But I don't want to bring that out here tonight. I wanted to just tell us that timing and tone matters. The tone at which you speak and the time at which you speak it, they matter a lot. Timing and tone matter a lot. Your right message is a great message, but if you use the wrong tone, you will meet resistance. You will see people telling you, why should we do it? Because it's the right message. And funny enough, the people that resist you, they know it's the right message, but they just don't like the tone, then they will give you resistance. Right truth plus wrong timing is damage. I made my own mistakes. Many of these I cannot share in the public space. I can't share in the public space. Talking about right truth and wrong timing. I did have a sister that was I feel uncomfortable talking about it. But bottom line, I knew what she was doing wasn't good. I should have wisely presented it. But I was just running my mouth. You don't know what you are doing. Are you a kid? Are you a baby? How would you let someone do this? How would you let someone do that? Imagine me thinking that I'm a perfect person. The bottom line is I lost the relationship with that sister of mine that day that I said it. Because thinking about it now, I feel bad. So imagine what that would have done to that sister. Right truth plus wrong timing is damage. That's why most times you cannot go wrong keeping quiet. Well, the worst thing that will happen is you'll be trampled upon. We don't want that, right? But if you still keep quiet, it's better than when you react irrationally. Right truth plus wrong timing can cause damage. You hear someone say something bad about. There was one time that someone a lot of things I can't say because I still talk to these people. Let's say I forgive a lot. Someone went ahead to say something bad about me, and the person they made the gossip to came to confront me and said, "You said this." I'm like, how on earth will I say this? How on earth would this come from my mouth? But they didn't believe. They were just If not for maturity, I should have those signs of damage, because it was the right truth. Number one, they thought I did it. I didn't do it, right? But it was the wrong timing. So many of us, we fall into that trap. Leadership, influence requires the skill of communication. The communication to know when to speak to your bosses and your managers, when you speak to your leaders, how to speak to them, how to table a matter. Even if you are dissatisfied about something, there's still a wise way to deliver. I have lost a job. I have lost a job in life because I was being blunt. Right truth, wrong timing will lead to damage. Right message, wrong tone will lead to resistance. Nobody likes to be attacked, especially publicly. You now go ahead and tell the person, no, this is not going to work. I did this 2 years ago and it didn't work. That person will resist you. And you are not gaining influence that way. Leadership is influence. You are bringing a lot of people to see your point of view and follow your point of view. So all I'm trying to say is we need to work, including me. Because I'm still growing. I'm not under 30, but I'm still growing. We have to work on our communication. Maturity is actually knowing when and how to speak. Maturity is knowing when and how to speak. Maturity is knowing when and how to speak. If you speak when you are not supposed to speak, you are foolish. If you keep quiet when you are not supposed to keep quiet, you are foolish. Maturity is knowing when and how to speak. God is in this business. He is going to really help us with our communication. I see some people, they insult people everywhere. They just look at you because you say something bad, they just snap and say anything. You are in the parking lot, you park your car, someone is not happy, they give you the middle finger. No, that's immaturity. Stephen Covey said, seek first to understand and then be understood. That's basically talk less, hear more, listen more, ask before asserting, clarify before reacting. The person that said I did this and was just throwing, if I remember those things that were said, I'll be like, why? For what reason? They would have just called me and said, we heard you said this about us. Did you really say it? And I would have said I didn't say it. But they didn't wait whether I said it or not. No. Your pride has gone to the top or height of it, and I'm going to address this issue now. You did this, and excuse me. It doesn't help us. And many of us watching this, we are less than 30. So we need to learn that art of communication. We need to learn how to wink when there is light and how to keep quiet when there is no light. Proverbs chapter 15 verse 1. A soft answer turns away wrath. A soft answer turns away wrath. David had every right to kill Saul, but he didn't kill him. Saul literally attempted murder at David, throwing a javelin at him. But he still did not shout and say, oh, hey, do you want to kill me? And all of those things. Why? Wisdom. Wisdom is knowing when you want to speak, how you want to speak, and doing it the right way. Anyways, Joseph also chose his words carefully. When his brothers came back, he wanted to punish them, but no, I don't want to punish. Then he left a silver cup in the bag of their young guest, right? Or in the bag of one of them. But he still didn't speak rashly. They still respected him. In short, the brothers that were angry that they were going to bow, I think they bowed to him like 3 or 4 times. Communication is emotional intelligence expressed. If you communicate badly, if you communicate rashly, then that means you have a low EQ. I'm sorry if this hits someone. If you are someone that is always quick to react, if you are someone that is always angry, that's my nature. No. Then you are immature. Or maybe your EQ is low. That means your emotional quotient is very low. You are among the level of those that are uneducated. I'll just leave that as that. What are the things we can do as I bring this to a close? Slow your response. You don't need to answer immediately. Even I am still working on that, right? You see someone talking about you in the meeting and you are very unhappy about it. You don't have to respond. There are many times the Holy Spirit says, Aanu, keep quiet. Even though I have pressed on mute button, let me talk. Holy Spirit says, Aanu, keep quiet. Separate the emotion from the message. I think all of us need this. We live in a generation where we get emotional quickly because we think, oh, it has to do with my reputation, I must defend it immediately. Separate emotion from the message. Make sure that whenever you are speaking to build. Even in your anger, you can still build somebody in your anger. You can express dissatisfaction for the purpose of growth. You don't need to be saying things that will hurt people and say, because they hurt me, I must hurt them in return. No, that's immaturity. Speak to build, not to win. Somebody says, if you argue with your spouse, and you win, you did not win. In the truth is you both lost. So speak to build, not to win. This life is not yes and no. This life is you building, you achieving goals and everything. Not that, oh, it did bad to me, I must do bad back. No. Please, I beg of you, don't do that. Disagree without dishonoring. You can politely say, I disagree, and you are still respectful, right? You don't have to be you don't have to communicate terribly, right? And finally, protect your reputation with your tongue. Protect your reputation with your tongue. If they know you as somebody that is always getting angry, I am a leader by privilege, by God's grace. There was some time we wanted to bring somebody on board for an assignment, and when I said no, this person is going to talk too much. Or this person is going to do a reaction that is going to cause us pain. So protect your reputation with your tongue. Let what you do, the best way to handle it is what you are doing in private is the same way you are acting in the public. Not that in public you are angelic, then in private you show all your color. No. Just follow the character of Christ. Let God continue to build your character. Keep building your character. Protect your reputation with your tongue. Finally, before 30, don't just build knowledge, build influence. You need influence. But to build influence, you need to be a good communicator. Maybe we should talk about the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Maybe it will help us to become a better communicator. So think about it. And finally, control your tongue, control your future. Communication is key. Communication is key. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Aanu's Growth Series. Until I see you next time, my name is Aanu Akinyera. Bye bye.